It's been a few days and it feels like things have kind of calmed down a little bit, which worries me because I don't want the heat that Lucasfilm is feeling to die down just yet because, I mean, let's face it, with everything that's happened, they know what's going on right now, and you know that they're kind of kicking themselves for the way that they've handled this situation. It was a terrible way that they went about this with Gina, and somebody's probably in trouble. I've talked about that a little bit on my live stream and in videos previously. And a lot of people also agree that it's likely that somebody kind of jumped ahead of themselves to release that statement, especially before their quarterly earnings call. So you have to wonder if someone got in trouble for that. I guess we'll never know. But anyway, let's get back to the topic here. There's a change.org petition. These rarely work. I do think that they can send a message. It's getting close to 5,000 signatures. And I'd like to say that this could do something, but the facts are that usually companies just don't listen to these. You look at the one with Amber Heard, the one that's got over 1 million signatures, and Warner Brothers just looks down on that like it's nothing. Like, well, it's not real. It's just a bunch of trolls. It's not a real thing, which is a shame because there's obviously a lot of people that are a little upset with AH. And there's a lot of people that support Gina. There's a huge movement behind her. And I also think that she's just done. I think she's excited to go do her own thing. She's kind of becoming an independent creator, which I think is awesome. And I got to say that I think independent creators are the future of the entertainment industry, to be honest. I think a lot of more people are going to start walking away from Hollywood, especially when you look at the kind of stuff that they make. You know, they prop up crap like Batwoman. So, I think that she's just ready to move on and do her own thing. And, I wish the best to her with that stuff. Saturday Night Live jumping in on the smearing of Gina Carano, though they kind of smeared Star Wars a little bit, which was surprising, but it still kind of feels like they were going after her a little bit. I'll leave that up to you guys. The main thing that I wanted to cover is what's going on with the merchandise that's based on Gina Carano from The Mandalorian. So a little bit of a quick recap, because I did cover this story. People that have ordered the Black Series figure of Cara Dune from Big Bad Toy Stores, they are claiming that Hasbro is canceling production. So you can see here we have been informed by Hasbro that they have canceled production of the Star Wars, the Black Series 6-inch Cara Dune, the Mandalorian, and will not be fulfilling our order. Okay, so this is done, which is crazy. This is them actively turning down money, and I'm going to show you why in a second. I would assume this one is likely done as well, the vintage figure. And while this hasn't been canceled, I think it's a safe bet that the retro collection figure will also be canceled. This wasn't released, so I would imagine it won't be released. They're just going to scrap it. It'll probably be thrown away, and no one's going to get one, which is a shame. It's probably at least somewhat been produced. And a lot of people say, well, they might just go ahead and release it. Somehow I doubt that, because they're literally throwing money away. I want to show you what's going on over at eBay with these figures, because it's getting pretty wild. So if we look at the Black Series figures, the vintage one is kind of mixing in with it a little bit. But we can go here. You can see right here, this one's sitting at $300. This is a new listing. And you might say, well, that's just the first one that's popped up. Okay, you might be right. Here's another one for $169.99. Okay, it doesn't get any cheaper. $249 for this one. And you move here. This one, I don't think that's not the Black Series one. Here's a Black Series figure out of the box. This one is, okay, no, that's the vintage one. Okay, here's a guy with a whole box of them, $224. Here's one at $184. Here's one at $200 or best offer. Here's one at $185. Here's one at $157, $185, $80. Now, here's the thing about the $80 one. This is a bidding one. Okay, this one's on a straight auction with 6 days left, 4 bids. If we jump over to the vintage figure, and look at what's going on with that one. You can see that it kind of hovers around $100. Here's one at 102, 84, 94, 90, $80, 74. This one's at 57. So somewhere around, I want to say 60 to, $100 these figures are going for. This one is open, which is why it's $16.50, but keep in mind, this is also an auction with 6 days left. I bet you that's going to end up going to about $70. So it's crazy to me how much people are willing to pay for these. This is going to be a real collector's edition. This is going to be a real collector's toy because they're not going to make any more. This is going to be a rare toy now because I don't even know how many they made because of the coup. So I would imagine production wasn't even that high. For the first time ever, there's going to be a real collectible Star Wars toy based on new Star Wars stuff. And I want to point out that even before, all of this had happened, these figures were still popular because our fans were buying them up. So you still couldn't get one. Like, you had to go to eBay to buy one before they canceled all of them. And they were still going for a lot. They were only going for maybe like $20 or $30 more than the retail price, but they were still hard to get. Let's move on to the Lego set. This thing is going for about $100. Here's an auction that's at 30 with 2 bids, 50 or best offer. So somewhere around 50 to $100 people paying for this. Why is this one listed? Well, this one has the Cara Dune Lego figure. So anything with her figure in it is selling like crazy for a lot of money. Even just a little figure. Look at this. Now, these are bids. I don't know what those will come to. There's a lot of loose figures running around, but it's just interesting to me how this is working out. There's a Funko Pop. Those are going around for different prices. Here's 35, 50, so on and so on. So this isn't surprising, right? But the point I want to make here is how these companies are just throwing away money, kind of showing you that money really doesn't matter very much to these companies anymore. It's all about Twitter likes, making money on Twitter with clout, I guess. I guess that's the new currency, right? Because Hasbro's straight up canceling figures. You have to wonder if maybe this is a license deal, but I would be willing to guess that when you sign a contract with Lucasfilm or Disney or any of these companies now, there's probably a deal for your likeness to be used forever, no matter what happens. That's just my guess. I mean, it would make sense if you think about it because lawyers, right? Like, they're thinking about these things now, and this is the world we live in. Look at, like, Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill. There's rumors that have been floated around that Disney pretty much owns their likenesses for, like the original trilogy characters' likenesses. So they could do a whole CGI movie in 100 years if they wanted to based on them. And if you think about it, it kind of makes sense. Whether or not they'd actually do that, I don't know. They had to do it with Carrie Fisher recently. I believe they did it for Rise of Skywalker, right? So, I don't know. But they're just throwing away money. Like, these would sell. You could pump these out like crazy right now if you were Hasbro, and they would sell like hotcakes. But they've decided to cancel them to virtue signal, and now the demand has gone to the second market, and these I don't know where these are going to end in value. My guess will be that it'll top out about $200 a figure because they're finite now. They're not going to make any more. So, and I would guess that there's probably not a crap load of them out there anyway, because of the fact that there weren't a lot of toys in the first place when the Mandalorian first started, and then the coup came, and that for sure has slowed down production on everything. So this is going to be a real collector's figure. So is this one right here, the vintage one. This is going to be a big collector's figure as well. So, if you want this stuff, I would say grab it now because they're only going to go up in value. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about all this. I'd like to hear from you. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out.